in many ways, it's the safest place for an investor to be, is in corporate America. And that is very different from 2008. You know, that 2008 scenario that everybody is so preoccupied with, so much of that was because of the financial sector, because of one sector that predominated the S&P 500, and then earnings essentially collapsed. We're unlikely to see one sector so dominant collapse today. Now, we still have economic weakness, but, you know, investors want a 5% CD, and they're not going to get it. They're going to have to settle for a 3% dividend yield, and the higher quality U.S. companies will be more defensive than many other places in this market. But yesterday, investors received a painful wake-up call that the Fed can't or is unwilling to solve all of our problems. And perhaps that's a good thing in some ways, that the Fed isn't going to always be there to the rescue. But we saw financials have been very weak. They've been the weakest sector of this market. And they were weak yesterday, leading the market down. And again, we'll see that play out in a redemption cycle that is likely to play out over the next few weeks. Financials, no question, a flattening of the yield curve will give the perception of a recession. But expectations for banks are already fairly low, Joe. Certainly, we have seen the volatility play out in terms of weak consumer sentiment, weak investor confidence. The high volatility is not something that's comforting for retail investors. And again, that's why we're seeing retail investors vote based on what the Fed said with their feet and leave the market. With that said, it is encouraging that this is somewhat of a bottoming process when we see investors panicking and running for the hills for that 0% money market. So we are beginning to see expectations come down for the second half of the year. Again, very encouraging. You know, as they say, you can't fall out of a basement window. And with the market coming down at the rate it's been coming, valuation alone will at some point become a catalyst for this market. So investors need to think very hard before they run for the hills.
Well,